So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of Scale Up India. I'm Abhishek Verma and you're watching the Hibernate series. Now from the title of video, if you have understood, then we are not going to talk anything about Hibernate in this video. But still, this is an important video for our Hibernate series. Now why is it so? So first of all, in this video, we are going to talk about the basics of JDBC. Now, in case if you feel that you already know the basics of JDBC and hence you can skip this video, then again, the second point is that in this video, we are going to discuss about our whole scenario of the Petistaan application once again. The same application we are going to enhance in the upcoming videos. So in the upcoming videos, we will be only focusing on the repository layer and the main Hibernate logic. Rest of their classes are going to be used as it is. But in this video, we are going to cover all those classes in detail so that you can have a basic idea whenever you are going to download the application. You can know that how to start the application and in which class you can find which particular part. And hence this video is important. And still if you feel that you can skip this video, so the third reason can be that I can get some views if you will just watch up this video and some motivation also for creating the next video soon. So let's get started. So here we are in our Eclipse IDE and as you can see that currently this is empty. So what I'll do is I'll go here and say import projects. Now as I have told you that this tutorial is going to be about JDBC. We are just going to revise the concept of the JDBC here as this is required for the Hibernate. So I will be just reusing the code as it is and I won't be coding anything live in this one. But in the next videos, everything will be coded live. I mean, most of the things related to the Hibernate will be coded live. So let's get started, say existing Maven projects, then say next, and let's browse it out. So here it is demo 0. So we'll go there and we'll say finish. So it is importing the Maven project and here it says 9% and maybe in the progress it will just show up us. So it says that okay, everything is done. That was quick. So this is it with our demo 0 and this is our simple demo. Now we start with this demo. First of all, we'll go for the pom.xml. Now one important thing to remember is that all of our demos are going to be made with the help of Maven. Because as you know that with Maven we can control the dependencies and jar file in an effective way. We can test our application with the help of JUnit and then we can do other steps also like creating the jar file quickly and all those things can be done. Hence we will be sticking towards the Maven based project. Let me just increase the font size here a bit. So I'll just do like this. Now I guess it looks better to you. So here if we start, first of all we are making usage of JDK 17 here. So although the latest version of Java is 21, but as of now we are not switching towards Java 21 because still let's say that in future we are going to work with any other kind of dependency and maybe that dependency as of now don't supports 21. So in the industry currently 11 and 17 are mostly used. I mean there are still some projects we are making usage of 8 but we'll go for 17 and it's a pretty good one. 21 just came now itself in September, so it will take some time to grow. Now here, since in this demo we are just going to make usage of JDBC. Now for JDBC as such we don't need any dependency because everything which is required by JDBC is provided by Java itself. But we need to interact with some kind of database and for that database we need some database related dependency. Now I will be making usage of MySQL here and hence I'm making usage of this MySQL connector J dependency. Now if you're not sure that how to get this one, so let me just quickly show you. So I'll go here and I'll go to this Maven repository. So yeah, it's opening and here I'll search for this MySQL. So I'll just say search here and let's see whether it comes or not. Yeah, here it is. So as you can see there are two things. One is this MySQL connector J, other one is MySQL connector Java. So if you get confused which one to use, so the first solution is that you can check by the date. So this was released on October 25, 2023 and this is April 18, 2023. So maybe this is the latest version of this thing only. but still let's see. Let's go here. So here also it says the thing has been moved to MySQL connector J. So whatever earlier they used to call as MySQL connector Java, maybe you are also using in your current projects as MySQL connector Java. Now that thing only they call as MySQL connector J. So let's try to use this one. And for this, the latest version is 8.2.0. So this is the one. We can just copy out this and we can just paste it here. So I have already done that. Yesterday only I updated this particular version. And what I'm doing is that here in the dependencies section, I'm just keeping the main dependency. And on the top, I'm saying this MySQL version. Now, why is it important? So what happens, let's say that as of now, I will just directly copy paste. So here it was only one dependency. But in the upcoming demos, I need to, let's say, use 5-6 different dependencies. And let's say all those dependencies are from a particular provider. Let's say Hibernate. So for Hibernate only, let's say we have 5 different dependencies and we need to add all of them. Now for all the 5 different dependencies, I need to have a Hibernate version also here. Now it may happen that if I just do a copy paste, maybe at a time I will just update one of them, not all. So then I may get some kind of different errors also whenever I will be running the code. So a better option is that here you just put up something like this kind of thing. Let's say MySQL.version. It can be a placeholder. And in your properties section, you clearly mention what is this MySQL version points to. So this will act as a placeholder and this is the rule. So we need to say dollar and then these braces and then whatever the name, it is your choice. Even if you wish, you can say abc.version. Obviously that is not going to be a good name then. So I'm saying here MySQL.version, then same thing you put up here and you give the version. So the next time if I just need to change the version, I need to change here. So I don't need to go down and check in which particular place I need to change the version. On the top only I can change, and wherever I'm using this thing as a placeholder of MySQL.version, it will get automatically updated. So this way we are going to use this. Now proceeding with this. So rest all other things are basics only, nothing interesting much here. So let's close this. Now here we'll go to src main Java. Let's see, do we have anything in test Java? So this is empty. So I have deleted that particular package because we are not going to test anything as of now. So this is our main code. Now here we can start with this com.scaleupindia, and this is my demo class. So here from the demo we are having our main method and the control is going to start. So what I'm doing here is that in the main method I'm just creating an object of demo and then I'm keeping the complete logic in a different run method. So this is also a good practice, and most of the times if you have done some kind of lead code or other things, so there also you have seen that how they usually do is that here they just keep a main, then they create a separate method and keep all other things there, so that in your main method you don't have too much amount of code. If you wish, you can keep everything there also. There is nothing wrong in that, but it is just my wish, and later on we will be working with Spring Boot also. So there also you will see that in our main method we are not going to have too many things. So that's the reason. So here this is my run method. So from here what I have done is I'm creating an object of owner service, and this owner service I'll show you very soon. Then what I'm doing is that I'm taking the scanner because I need to take input from the user, and here I'm just taking the things again and again. So this will keep on asking me to provide the input again and again. Hence for this I'm making usage of do while loop. So at the end I'm saying that do I wish to continue. So from the user I can ask something like press Y to continue, no to exit, and something like this, and it will keep on showing me the options. So this way I'm doing. And the name, as you know, for our application I have kept it as Petistaan, okay, because here it is going to control everything about our pets. So the interesting part of watching the tutorials on Scale Up India is that you will find all the demos made with the same kind of application only, that is Petistaan. So for you it is going to be easier to relate all of them if you watch, and hence that's the thing. Then Here we will have a particular class input util. So that I'll show you in some time. And here I will say accept menu option. So you see that all my method names are very easy. So from the method name only, you will get an idea what it is doing. So maybe it is showing me some menu options. I can select one of them. Then according to it, it will have a switch thing. And then I'm having different cases. Whatever the number I will be choosing, that particular operation will happen up here. So this way you can code an effective application. And the same thing, if you wish, you can use in your project also for the college. If you are making some kind of project, so you can start making usage of this. Or if you are just doing any other kind of POC, then also you can do this. So here what I'm doing is I'm saying accept owner details to save. So some owner details I'm accepting, saving it in an owner DTO, and then I'm calling the save owner method. If everything goes well, which I'm assuming, then it will say owner has been saved successfully. If an exception will happen, then obviously it will be caught here and our application will stop. So as of now, I have not done in that case that if an exception will happen, then it will give us a different chance. It will just simply stop, yeah? Just in order to make it simple. Then the second option is that here I'm saying find owner. So we can find the owner also by the owner ID. Third one is we can update the pet details of the owner. So basically we are just updating the pet name, and for this we are going to provide the owner ID. So this is update pet details method is here. Then we can delete the owner also. So whenever we are going to delete owner, the pet also will be deleted here. And then here we are going to fetch all the owners. So it is just going to fetch me all the owners as well as their pets, and it is going to print me the size of the list also. If there is no owner, it will simply say 0. So that is the thing. Also you see, I'm not making usage of the normal for loops. I'm trying to make usage of lambda expressions here. I'm trying to make usage of streams here. So here I'm making usage of for each. Now within for each, you know that it can take something like a consumer. So it can take this consumer function here directly, for which you can just write up a lambda function, and then that lambda function also you can make it even more simpler. Because what we are doing, for each we will take an owner object, we will be printing it. So instead of saying owner arrow and then sysout owner, I can simply say system.out : println. So this is method reference, and this in detail we have explained in a separate video also of lambda. So there it has been covered in detail. So if you wish, you can watch that. I can provide you the link in the description box also. And for default, it will just say me invalid option entered. So here we are leaving an option to make more cases in future. And whenever we are going to work with the Hibernate, we will be creating more cases also. Yeah. Another interesting part, if you see that currently it is of 63 lines, but still most of the logic like accepting the input and all other things I have kept in a separate class, so that I can try to reuse the things as much as possible. Now let me show you input util. So that I have kept here. Now here what happens is that all my methods are static methods. Hence it's a good practice that if your class contains all the methods as static, then you don't need to create an object of that class. So what you can do is that you can make a private constructor, so that by mistake also someone don't try to create an object of your input util. So this can be done here. So this is your static method. This is accept menu option. So here it will say that okay, press 1 to add the owner, 2 to fetch details, 3 to update the pet details, 4 for deletion, 5 for fetching all the owners. And then with the help of if, I'm saying that if anyone enters the number from 1 to 5, it will return, else it will again show this thing. So let's say if someone enters 6, we are not going to throw the error. We are just going to show the same thing again, which will give an idea that okay, you need to press these buttons only. Now one option could be that I could have said like, it can be something like minimum value 1, maximum value 5. But then there are chances maybe someone enters 1.1. So I'm playing even more safer here. Yeah, and I'm not trying to have any kind of errors. So this is done. Then for what want to continue. So if you remember, I was asking this question at the end, want to continue. So there I'm saying that if you press Y, it will continue, and if you will press N, it will exit. And in the logic, what I'm saying is that from the scanner or from the keyboard you enter anything. You can even enter a complete word also. What we will do is we will convert it to the uppercase first of all, and we will just take the first character. Now if the first character is Y, then it will just try to continue. And if the first character is anything except Y, so let's say anyone by mistake press 1, 2 or 3, then also it will exist. Yeah, so it can be other way around also. So you can say that if first letter is capital N, then only exit, otherwise continue. So that is your choice, because there are chances that user will enter something else also. Yeah, so that also has been taken care. Then here I'm just taking all the owner details. So ID, first name, last name, gender, city, state, all other things I'm taking. Now for gender also many people get confusion here that how we can write these things. So for that what I have done here is that I have made usage of this enum gender here. So I'm just saying capital M, capital F here. Yeah, other options also you can put if you wish, but as of now I'm just taking two options here. Now the question is how to tell the user that only these option needs to be entered, because maybe user can enter male, female or something else also, let's say ABC, XYZ. Then you need to do some hard work, you need to fetch the details and then you need to try. So for this the option is that you should tell the user what are the various options. So when we say gender.values, it will give me array of all these values m, f. But I want to show it in a better way. So what I have done is I have converted it to a list and then to a string so that I can show up here. So whenever it will appear, it will say enter gender of owner m, f. And then also what I'm doing is user can still enter anything. So what I'm doing is that whenever the user is going to enter, I will just convert the whole thing to the uppercase as it is. So whatever the user will enter, I will convert it to the uppercase and save it here. So most probably the chances are that user will enter M or F only. If user will enter anything else, then obviously later on we are going to provide an error here. Then city, state, mobile number, email ID, pet ID, this and that, and then date. So date is also very important. Many times we just say that okay, enter the date of birth, but then we don't tell the syntax. So we need to tell the format. So I'm clearly mentioning DDMMYY. It will be taken as a string. So there is nothing directly in scanner that can take a date as such. So it will be taken as a string, and later on we are going to convert it to a date that I'll show you soon. Then for pet gender and pet type also I'm doing. So pet type also, again I have taken an enum here. So only few options I have mentioned here. Yeah. So this is the one. Now once everything has been taken as an input, then comes our main job. So we are having here this owner DTO. So our owner DTO looks like this. So it's a very simple owner DTO class where I'm having all these options. Owner ID, owner first name, last name, gender, city, state, mobile number, email ID, pet name, local date. So birth date, many people still have a habit to taking date as a calendar or date data type. But my suggestion is please don't use those things until and unless your business requirement asks you to make usage of calendar or date, because those are too old. And there if you will perform some operations, then it will take you time also. In a video of date and time API, we have clearly mentioned that if you use calendar, then what all issues are you are going to face. If you will use date, then what all issues you will face. So better to make usage of local date, local time, local date and time, and that's a good practice. Then we'll go to this pet gender, pet type, and all these things come up here. So these are getter, setter methods, to strings and everything here. So it's there. So let's come here again. So we will be setting up all the things. Now for this gender, what I have done is that here, as you remember what I did. So I just took it as a string and then I converted it to the uppercase. So that I did here, and then I saved it in a string only. And then later on I need to validate that it is capital M or capital F only. So for this I'm saying gender.value of. So when I do this thing, then what happens is it tries to convert your string directly to your gender enum. Now if it is able to convert, because when it will be able to convert, whenever person enters capital M or capital F only, or simple M or F, because we are converting it to capital, then only it will be converted. Otherwise it will throw an error. So that's simple. So if someone enters male, then it's an error because I was saying capital M or F only. So that's an error. And for the date, what I have done is I've taken it as a string, then I'm calling this method and I'm saying datetime formatter of pattern and this thing. Again, this datetime formatter has been explained in detail in our local datetime video. So all these things are done, then we are returning the owner DTO. And if anything goes wrong in this method, so let's say if any of these values is entered in a wrong way, then we will just show the exception message there only and will ask the user to enter the details again. So we are not taking these values to our demo class or to other class and then throwing the error. Instead, we are throwing the error here itself. And not only throwing the error, we are saying that this is the error and then you need to enter the whole things again. Now that's a little tricky here, that if there are 10 fields and if you make an error in any one of the fields, you need to re-enter all the things. But yeah, that is the case. One way is to divide these things also again in two parts. Owner details separately, pet details separately, that can be a choice. Then here I just need to sometimes take only the updated pet name. So I have created a separate method, owner ID, so a separate method. So this thing is there. So till now we have covered the demo class, owner DTO, enums and the input util. Now let's move ahead to our service. So from here, if you remember, we were calling owner service. So let's go there. So I'll click and I'll say open declaration. So now we are in the owner service here. So here what I'm doing is that I'm just creating these abstract methods. Now again, it's a good practice that you should create the interface for your service and the repository layer, so that you can just have a brief idea that what method can be created here. So instead of directly starting with the implementation of the methods, always create the methods, something like this abstract methods you can create, get an idea that what can be the input type, what can be the output, what can be the exception. Once it is clear, then you start with your implementation. So it can be a good practice. So here I'm saying it will be a save owner. I'll accept the owner DTO. I won't return anything because if everything goes well, it is well. And if any exception will happen, so I'll say duplicate owner exception. So here this exception I have created explicitly, duplicate owner exception, a simple one. Then I'm saying find owner. If it is not there, I'll throw owner not found exception. So again, this is a good practice that you throw custom exceptions. Yeah. Then I'll say update pet details. Now it may happen that when you try to update the pet details, maybe the owner itself is not available. So again, this can be thrown up here. Then I'll say delete owner. So it may happen that owner is not there. Then what will you delete? So this can happen. And then there is find all owners. Now for this you may say that okay, what if there is no owner? It will be an empty list. Should not we throw an error? So my suggestion is that we should not throw the exception in this scenario, because it's a list, and in the list there is no guarantee that data is going to be there. So if data is there, you will show. If data is not there, you won't show. You will just say there are 0 owners. That's it, simple. It's not an exception as such. Yeah. So that's my suggestion here. So this is the one. So here let's go to this service IMPL. So this service we have discussed, and this is service IMPL. So I'm just implementing this. Now from here we need to call the owner repository. So that object I'm just passing here for the repository IMPL. And let's discuss all these methods. So what I'm doing, first of all, I'm calling the owner repository find owner. So before adding, I'm trying to guess whether this ID is there or not. So some of you may say that okay, this is not a good practice. I mean, there should be something like auto increment of the ID. So the thing is that your suggestion is right. We should have auto increment of ID. And whenever we are going to discuss about Hibernate, then I'll tell you the different ways of having that auto increment ID. Here this is JDBC. So I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible. So I don't want to play much with the SQL directly, because in JDBC there is no direct way that you can make your ID auto increment. You need to play with the SQL. But what if a person is not expert in SQL? So I'm just making it simple. But with Hibernate, I'll show you at least 3 to 4 different methods for auto generating the IDs. Yeah? So till then we need to throw this error. So if the owner exists, then we will just throw the error and we'll say duplicate owner exception. Now this is also interesting. Okay, so one of my mentors, so earlier what I used to do is that for this existing owner, I just need to check whether it's null or not. So direct option is you can say existing owner equals to null, but then that is also fine. But then one of my mentors showed me that okay, there is another way. You can make usage of this objects class. So this objects class is there, and then it gives you even much more readable methods like is null and non-null. So if you go to this objects, then there are different methods like this is null is there, which will just check if it is null, and then non-null, which will check that it is non-null. So try to make usage of these methods, and then it gives a little bit of more readability to your code. And at the end, what we need, we want the code to be much more readable as possible. I mean, in between you will see double double equals to null. It is not that much readable, but this one gives you much more better idea. So I thought better to use this one. Then for the exception, one of our thing is that what we try to do is that whenever we get an exception, we try to pass on the message as it is. Now that's a good practice if you are a beginner. But what happens is that whenever you are creating a very big project, now at that time, let's say that I thought that for this I will throw an exception like owner doesn't exist. But later on someone told me that okay, the better one is that you say owner with owner ID not found. Then someone said that okay, better option is owner not found with this particular owner ID. So you see the message will keep on getting changed. Now if I directly put the message here, then every time I will change the message, I need to recompile this Java class. Yeah. And why I'm just recompiling the Java class? Just because I'm changing a message here. And not only that, maybe there is something like spelling mistake. That also can happen. That also can lead to the recompilation of this Java class. So better is that whenever you have such things like English lines or all other things, better you create a separate properties file. And then you read the things from that properties file. So that logic we have kept in the properties config that I'll show you soon. But till then what I've done is I have mentioned here that okay, these are the two different kinds of messages I may need here. Owner already exists and owner not found. And I'm representing it like this. So I'm just saying, so this is the key name here, and this thing is the key name in my properties file. So in the property file, my key is owner.already.exist. So whenever here I will say that take this value, it will automatically take the value from the properties file and then do the things. And what is the purpose of format? So that I can pass the ID dynamically. So it will make my messages even more interesting if I say string.format. And here you can have any number of dynamic values. So that can be done. So if everything goes well, I'll just say save owner for the repository. That I'll show you in some time. Then same way we have for the find owner. So for this we are just directly finding the owner. If it is null, this time we will throw the error. So last time it was for non-null, this time it is for null. And again you see, if I would have used the symbols directly, sometimes just by the confusion it may happen that instead of double equal to you put not equal to or something. But if you will write, it is more readable and then there are less chances of creating the mistake. You can tell me in the comments whether you like these suggestions or not. Then you can return the owner if everything goes well. Then same for the update pet details. First you find the owner. If it is not there, throw the exception. If it is there, update the thing. Then delete owner. So again you find, if it is not there, throw the error. If it's there, you read. And then find all owners. So this is simple. I will just call the repository. It will return me the list. I'll return it as it is. Yeah. And everywhere I just made usage of this thing. So two kinds of exceptions I'm throwing. And this properties config I'll just show you very soon. but the main purpose is that I'm just using it in order to read from the properties file. Now where it is, that also I'll just show you again in some time. Let's go for the next layer, repository. So this is for the repository. Again, I created an interface and almost you see same number of methods: save, find, update, delete, and find all. And this is just a coincidence. It may happen that sometimes you need extra methods also in your interface, or sometimes you need less methods in your repository interface. That can happen, and that we will see in our Hibernate videos also. But here this is the thing. So let's see the repository ampl, and this is little interesting. So when we will go for this repository IMPL, so here you see that I'm having this save owner. So here what I'm doing is that first of all, we need to create a connection. So instead of directly creating the connection here, what I have done is, again, I'm making usage of this class because I need to create connection in all the methods. So in all the methods, instead of writing 4 or 5 lines again and again, I'm making usage of this database config. And in this database config, at a time only I have said that, okay, I need to use all these things. So I need to take the URL, username, password, I need to take the driver, all these things, and I need to prepare a connection. So directly I will call the method and it will give me the connection. And also it can throw me exception also, like SQL exception, class not found exceptions. So that also can be thrown. But I'll handle them in the repository layer if any will be thrown. Here also you see that I'm not passing the values directly, because again in future maybe I will be just planning to change my database URL, username or password. Why should I recompile my Java class? It should not be the case. Why should I need to come back to this class, find that, okay, where I have written the particular logic and change the thing? It's easier for me to make a change in the properties file. Yeah, and it is also possible that as of now I have kept the properties file here only in my src main resources, but later on you may want to keep these properties file outside your main code, maybe somewhere in different GitHub repository, or maybe in some different cloud file or somewhere. So that is also a good thing. So here we will be just creating these static final variables like this, and again taking the value from the properties file with the help of properties config. That I'll again show you very soon. So I'm creating a connection. Now you know that whenever I need to prepare a save query, yeah, or better not to call it as a query, because you are saving something. Query is when you want to ask someone. So whenever you want to prepare a save statement, then you need to make usage of this prepared statement. So this one will be used. Yeah. Now why this prepared statement? Because here you need to pass the arguments. So this is not going to be static in nature. It is going to be dynamic. Here the values can change again and again. So better to go for the prepared statement. So we will be using this, and we are making usage of try with resources, so that I don't need to call the finally block and close all the resources. They will be closed automatically. I just need to have a catch block where I'm saying that if this or this exception occurs, then instead of throwing this, what I'm doing is I'm making my own internal service exception and I'm throwing that one because it's a runtime exception. So that way I'm doing. That is just my choice. If you wish, you can throw it directly also, or if you wish, you can handle it in some different way. Yeah. But in this, most of the chances are that, okay, you may have done some mistake in getting the connection. Maybe your values of username, password, or URL are wrong, or there is a mistake in your SQL query. And now you see the query is so big. Insert into table name, then I need to put all the column names here, then I need to put all these question marks, and I need to count all of them one by one. Like how many things are there. Even if I make a mistake, let's say I remove this, it's gone, then it is going to throw me the error. So it is very difficult here when your number of columns are going to increase. So then these kinds of queries are going to be difficult. And then you need to set all the things. So this is again one more disadvantage of JDBC. And that was the main part of this video, that when we are going to discuss this video, not only the scenario, but we will also discuss the disadvantages of JDBC using directly. So I need to be very clear with the SQL queries. I need to be an SQL expert when I want to write all these things. And then For my class, I need to set all the variables one by one. Now imagine there are only 13 variables as of now. So I need to do like this. In your big projects like Amazon or all these things, there are so many variables for so many things. Then it is going to be next to difficult things. Yeah. And then there are lists also sometimes. So let's say you have multiple orders. So order list, then multiple addresses, then there is one-to-one mapping, one-to-many mapping. Then sometimes you, let's say you have inheritance also. So it becomes difficult if you directly make usage of JDBC. And at the end, so directly JDBC using is not a good choice when your project increases. Yeah, and hence we will start making use of Hibernate from our next video. So coming back here, so we'll just say execute update so that it works. Yeah, and this execute update is going to return you an integer. So it will tell you how many rows got inserted. As of now, we are not interested because we know that if everything goes well, it will work without any error. And if any exception is thrown, then it means some exception has occurred and it won't be saved. Then same for the find owner. So this is my query. So again, this way I'm writing. Again, a prepared statement. I need to provide owner ID dynamically here. This time the method is execute query. So that was execute update. This is execute query. And again, as you see, I'm not directly getting the owner DTO object. I'm getting a result set. And then I need to have this particular kind of a mapper. So again, what this method basically is doing is that it is just getting all these columns and setting my owner. So if I wish, I could have created this thing also in this mapper util, but I thought that to write here and this one here. So that is your choice, okay, because this is just for the demo purpose. But this is the difficulty. Whenever you are saving the data, you need to do everything one by one. When you are taking back the data, you need to do everything one by one. So this is a little bit tricky here. So that's an issue. Yeah. The next part is update pad details. So for this, again a query. This time 2 arguments have been provided here, and again it will be just an execute update. Then for this one, delete. So this is the thing, and then this find all owners. So this time it is a simple query. The only difference between this one and this one is that I have removed the where clause. So it will just give me a list of all the owners, and then again this time I need to have a while loop, and again I need to call this convert method. So I need to convert the things from this result set to my DTO. I have explained it in detail in the separate JDBC series also. So if you wish, you can watch out that too. So I'm returning the owner in my owner list, and it can be 0 owners also, it can be any number of owners. So here with JDBC, we found that first difficulty is that we need to create the connections on our own. So we need to take care of all these things. Another difficulty is that we need to work with these messy SQL. So the moment your application is going to become bigger, your queries are going to become difficult. Believe me, these are the simplest CRUD queries which we have written here. They can become even much more difficult. Another difficulty is that every time you need to convert the data from your owner DTO, or let's say from your Java type to some particular table, from table to Java, Java to table. That is again going to be difficult. And just imagine, this is just a single class, single table. What if I have for every owner, I create a pet separately in a separate table, and then I have a one-to-one mapping? Then it can be a nightmare, a bad nightmare, that how you write this bigger queries. So then it is going to be even much more difficult. So all these are the difficulties which we are going to face when we are going to work directly with the JDBC. Yeah. Now let's go for this properties config also. So this is my properties config class. So in this properties config class, what I have just done is, on the top I'm saying that from which all files to read. So I'm just saying here that database.properties, messages.properties, from this you need to read. From messages, here we have all the error messages, and you see this %s. So this is for the dynamic value, so that the owner ID or all these things can come dynamically. So currently it is looking like %s, but when the error will happen, it will say can't find owner with owner ID 10 or whatever you give. And this is for the database properties. So whenever you are working with JDBC, 4 properties are very basic and important. First of all, the driver name. So this driver name will keep on changing as per your database. So if you are using MySQL, then this is the driver name. If you are using PostgreSQL, then there is some different driver name. In JDBC series, we have covered it in detail that how to decide and what to do. Then this URL syntax also will change as per your database. And then this is the username and password. So everything we are providing here. So next time if I just need to change, I will just make a change here. And you see that this I'm doing something interesting. I'm making usage of port 3307. Generally we make usage of 3306, but on 3306 I was having some different things. So I thought to make usage of a different port number. So if you're importing the demos, then just try to make change for basically these 4 things. So that's something which you need to do. And then in this properties config, I'm just doing simple. I'm just reading it with the help of class loader. Again, I have explained this thing line by line, code by code in the JDBC series, so I won't spend more time here. So that was all basically with this demo, and let's try to run the code and see how the things are going to work up here. So let me just click here and say run. So on running this, it shows me that okay, welcome to Petistaan. These are the 5 options. So let's try to do something more interesting. Let's as of now just fetch all the existing owners. So we'll say 5. And it says that unknown database Petistaan. Because the thing is that as of now, I don't have created this database. So whenever you are working with the JDBC, you need to create the database first. So for this, what I've done is, in order to make your job simpler, I'm providing here this database.sql. So you can open this. I'll just open it with this text editor instead of file. So here I have provided this thing. So these are the queries you can use in order to create a database as well as table. So I'll copy all these things and take it to my MySQL. So I'm making usage of MySQL Workbench here. If you wish, you can make usage of some other online also. Otherwise, this is good one. So this is my MySQL 3307. I'll go for. So I'll go there. And currently you see nothing is here. So I'll just provide out the things. So this is create database, Petistaan and all this, and this is owner table. So everything has been written up here. So I'll select this and say this one. So it will say that all these things have been done. So it has created the database, then it has started using the database, and this is the table. If I'll say refresh here, so this is the database Petistaan, this is the table owner table. I'll click on this and it will show me this as the empty table. And now with the empty table, what I can do, I can't do anything much. So I have made here this data.sql also. So again, you can open it with your this text editor and you can copy all the data, Control A, Control C, and what we will do is we'll just paste it out here. So we'll remove this. Let me just remove it like this, say Control A and execute. So you can execute this in the starting, and now if you just do this again, so it will show you that there are so many owners. So there are basically 72 owners have been added along with their pets. So same data we will be using in our other videos also. And also it is a good practice that whenever, let's say even for your college project you are doing. So many times what happens is that students create a college project, then they go to for the submission purpose, and for the submission purpose then in front of teachers they start creating multiple things and all these things. And then teacher feels that okay, why he is doing like this. I mean, in order to show the demos, we need to do something like this. But instead of creating all these things, it's always better that you keep the things handy. So I'm not saying that we won't be showing anything, but keeps the things handy, and then rest of the things you can show from here. So now this time we have all many 72 owners. So we'll run this again. I'll just say this 5 first of all. So it will show me all these 72 owners here, and see all the data has been shown. Why it is printing up like this? Because in my owner DTO I have overridden the toString method. So it is showing me everything, and then it is asking me to why to continue. So I'll just do why. Now let's try other things. So let's try to add the owner. So this is the thing. So let's say your application is a bigger one. So if you want to show a demo where data is already here, always better to have these SQLs ready with you. So in front of the teacher, you can show that how you are doing the things. Yeah. So this add new owner, let's say owner ID. So 72 is already there. If I will try to add any one of them, I will get an error. So let's try to have a good one this time. So let's say 73. Let's say the owner is Java, and let's say the last name is Java 17. Okay, that can be a last name. Gender is, let's say, male, small m. It will convert it to capital M automatically. Let's say the city is Oracle. Let's say the state is JVM, or let's say the state is software, something like this. Let's say the mobile number is something like this. As of now, I have not done any different kind of limitations, so I can just enter anything. Email ID is, let's say, abhishek@gmail.com, something like this, and enter ID of the pet. So I'll just try to give the same pet ID as a practice here. Enter name of the pet. So pet name can be what? It can be, let's call it as Petistaan only as of now. Date of birth, let's call it as 11/11 and something 2000. Gender, let's say M, and type, let's call it as a fish. And so it says owner has been added successfully. Press Y to continue. Let's press. Now we want to see whether it has been done or not. So let's enter the ID 73. So you see 73 has been added. ID, first name, last name, everything. Also important thing, whenever you are creating such applications, even if you see that some of the data is there, always better to check each and everything. Sometimes it may happen that there are too many variables, some of the data got saved, but you missed to set some of the variables, or it didn't got saved. So always double check all the variables, even whatever simpler is the application. So say Y to continue. This time let's try to update the pet details for this ID only. So currently the pet name is whatever it is, Petistaan. So let's change it to something like this. I don't know what it is. So it says it is also done successfully. Let's say Y again. Let's say fetch owner details to, let's say ID 73. And this time if we go, we can see that pet name has been updated to something like this. Let's say Y again here, and after this let's try to delete this. Let's say 73, and yeah, it has been deleted. Now if I say Y, so if I say 4, what do you think what will happen? This time the owner is not there. So if owner is not there, then it should show the exception, that this. But what it will show? Can't find owner with owner ID %s or 73. Let's see. So I'll say 4 and I'll say 73. So it says 73 because it is taking it as dynamically. Why is it possible? Because in my owner service IMPL, I'm making usage of this properties config and everything, something like this. So it is going to make it even much more interesting. And since it's an exception, so the application has stopped here. So this way, in this video, we have covered all our pet scenario as well as the basics of JDBC, how we were doing which all things, and the disadvantages of JDBC also. Not the JDBC as such, but the disadvantages of using JDBC directly. Now when we will say that I will start using Hibernate from my next video, it doesn't mean I will forget everything about JDBC. Hibernate still uses JDBC, and that I'll show you in my next video. But in this one, this way we have done. Now in the next video, the main classes which are going to change is the repository class. The repository IMPL is going to change basically. We won't be using this. Database config is going to change. These things are not going to be used as it is. Another thing is that sometime this demo class may change. Owner DTO will be, I'll try to use as it is, and in the next one we will introduce a new class as owner entity also. So that is going to be the new class. All other things are going to be as it is most of the times. Your service IMPL, there is no change. Repository no change, exceptions no change, enums also no change, properties config no change, mapper util also at some of the points only it is going to change. Hence this was important to watch out this video. And these resources also will try to use, but this most of the data part is going to use as it is. So if you have made it once, Rest of the times you can just reuse the things as much as possible. And all the demos are going to be with the help of Maven with the latest versions. And before we finish, let me just quickly show you one more simple last slide in order to revise all the concept once again. So now let me just summarize what we covered. So here we discovered the JDBC architecture, not the conventional way I will be showing you, but in a different way. So let's say this is my database. Now in order to connect our application with the database, first of all we had a presentation layer. Now this layer is generally the controller layer in most of the application which are web based, but ours was not a web based. So you can say the class which was demo containing the main method. So that was the presentation layer. Then after this we were having a business logic layer here, which if you remember, which was the service layer, where we were writing the conditions like different exception conditions and all the other conditions, for loop and everything that were mentioned here. Then we were having a data access layer, which was the repository layer, which was containing the JDBC based methods. And then we were having this particular JDBC. So this JDBC was not used as it is, but the driver part I'm trying to mention here. So this JDBC driver was there, and this JDBC driver was helping us to interact with the database. So this was the overall structure. And in the next video, this particular presentation is going to remain almost same. Business layer will remain same. This data access layer is going to change. So that is the main part which is going to be changed. We'll also see whether this JDBC will be removed completely or anything new will come in between. Yeah, but that's it with this video. And in this video, while I'm making this video, so currently we are having 491 subscribers. So let's see by the time I will be releasing the next video, is it going to increase? Is it going to decrease? Are we going to able to reach to 500 or not? And let's see all those things in the next video. But even if you find that this video helped you a little bit with all your projects, with all your knowledge, then just give a comment. Even a basic comment will do the job, because that will tell YouTube that okay, this is a good video. Try to like the video and share it with your friends also. And thanks everyone. See you next time.